Welcome to Season 5 and counting of the VanRocha podcast, hosted by Gene Van Horn, a Gen X thinker with over 30 years of marketing and sales experience. Each episode, he sits down with innovative professionals who have that special spark, people who inspire us all to do more and be more. Today's guest is Abigail Cleary from Jamaica, a young professional whose ability to simplify her growth journey is helping her level up by focusing on what's really important. That includes making tough decisions about who you let get close to you. As Abigail says,
I realized this friendship might not be for me. So I had to start to reevaluate a lot of my friendships, because I think sometimes I won't say that people are scared of bringing other people in their space, but I think that especially in countries where not a lot of opportunities are available, the energy sometimes it's not the best.
How can you protect yourself from FOMO? Avoid people projecting their limitations onto you and stop overcomplicating your growth journey. Gene and Abigail discuss this and more in episode 1 of season 5 of the VanRocha podcast. Enjoy the episode.
One thing that stands out to me about you, Abigail, is you politely go about stating how you feel and you respect other people's opinion, but you got your mind made up about certain things.
I think with LinkedIn, people try to just be 100% oh, hi, I agree, great post. And it's I saw that. I came on there and I saw this and I was like, but actually, I have some thoughts on this. How do I say this without being disrespectful? Even if it's good or bad, somebody's not going to be pleased. So I can't really say it's not going to stir up anything, but just put it in a way where it's very easy to understand. And it's not just hey, I'm just going to agree with everything just because. So I had to try to develop my voice, because sometimes I think even interacting with my peers, I might say something and they're like, okay, he didn't have to be that rough. So I had to really train myself to be hey, take it easy. Put it in a nice way, package it so people can understand and also maybe relate in some way. So I had to learn how to do that. I'm still learning. So it's still a journey.
You're doing a great job, only 1 year on LinkedIn, but that post, for example, that drew me to you big time was that work from home post. Tell us a little bit about that. I don't know how much you will recall, but I could tell from my perspective, that thing blew up, didn't it? You were kind of pushing back against the point of view that people think work from home is negative, and they were trying to convince people not to do it. And you were like, hey, to each their own.
That's firstly coming from my experience. For example, just coming from Jamaica, work from home isn't a really broad thing. A lot of persons going to office, which is totally fine. But from university, jumping out, I got a remote job. And when I was on the search, during that search, even my family, friends, they were why you don't just get an office job? And I'm like, okay, I'm open to that. But I'm also open to a better setup if it's possible. Since I looked over LinkedIn, I wasn't really active at that time, but while searching, I saw that those opportunities were available. But it's a case where there's so much pushback, because sometimes people feel like they can't achieve it, so you can't either. So a lot of times it's really coming from that. And I had to try to fight through and be all right, yes, I'm going to try to apply to an in-office and remote. So I've been doing 2 of those, trying when I just started searching for a job. And I got through with a remote job. And I remember when I got the job offer, my mom was just it's giving a scam. I think it's a scam. And I was like, maybe not. Let me just see what's going on. Let me be open to it, because she was saying it was the process was too easy, basically. Because a lot of persons don't really know about remote work. I think now in 2025, a lot of persons in Jamaica are starting to get jobs like that. But 2022, it wasn't that popular. So it was that kind of thought process. So I was just getting the negative reviews all around. I had to say I want to try this for myself. And even looking for a job last year as well, it was the same energy, but I was on LinkedIn more. So I'd speak to people or, just state that I'm looking for a job. Why don't you try and find an in-office job. That might be simpler. It might be, but it's not really what I wanted to do at the moment. And I think that's okay. So it's really weird. It's really weird, unfortunately. So that's where a lot of my posts are coming from, my experiences and thoughts. I just feel like if people want to work remotely, they should be able to try and find that. And also, it's not just about like being comfortable. I'm not sure if you saw one of my posts, but it was basically talking about remote work as well. When my grandma, she was ill at a time frame for a few years, and I was able to be with her during that time since I worked remotely. So I got to like help where I could because sometimes my other family members had to go into the office. So like it's not only about, oh, we're in our PJs just having a grand time. Like sometimes it's about accessibility or assisting families, never just, oh, we don't want to go into the office.
That is so well said. What stands out to me about what you said, Abigail, and I know this about you, it's like people give you opinions based on their limitations. I like how you don't let that just be the status quo for you. I could tell too, just from your LinkedIn, you are wise like a old person. I want to ask you how you became that, but I could tell you're young too. You acquired this balance and deep thinking. Where did this come from?
Okay, so I don't mind saying my age. I'm 25. It's a journey, to be honest. I won't say just like I've always been like this. I've always like had questions. I'm very, very curious and I want to know why. Oh, why are we doing this? So that's always been a part of me. But the part of just being like more mature and just looking into things more really came from, I think maybe last year. Maybe sometimes you see posts about like job searching and what people go through during that time. It was a horrible time for me last year, like 100%. I just decided that I wanted more for myself, so I resigned from my previous job and I decided to find something more that I was passionate about. Job market isn't the best, and especially when you are from like the Caribbean, not all like remote jobs are, accepting people from where you are. So that's another challenge. But I decided that I needed to do it. And in that time, I sat with myself. Every time that I got a rejection, like I had a lot of time to sit with myself. And I had my friend, like she was the person who really told me that I should join LinkedIn, like go and be active on it. And she had to tell me like 10 times. Every time I was like, girl, I don't know what's going on over there. I'm not going over there. So that was my mindset for the whole time. I don't have a voice. Like, what would people be interested to hear from me? Like, what do I know? So that's always been like my mindset. But she was like, she's been active over there. She's met awesome people. She's got to travel, got opportunities to travel and everything. So she's always been encouraging me and giving me like advice. Like I can't just take credit and say it's all me. Like she was always there, like telling me, girl, you can do this. You're so smart. Like people would be lucky to hear what you have to say. You have so much valid points. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to try. That's when it started to like develop more. I'm thinking in my thoughts, I'm seeing others' opinions and I'm saying, okay, what thoughts do I have on this? So it's been a journey of just like having a supportive friend that's been through her journey and is helping me to try and find my worth and my value in my life and working on that separately as well. And LinkedIn is like those three, basically.
That's really, really interesting. I'm glad you said that because a lot of people, isn't it true, Abigail, or would you agree that a lot of people surround themselves with people who don't lift them up?
That is so true. I literally have like personal experience from that. I made a post as well recently about being around people that don't uplift you and aren't at the same level that you wish to be, or not, at least not trying to uplift themselves as well. They don't have to agree. But sometimes if you don't have enough drive in yourself and you talk to people and that's the reaction you get, like it's just done there. But like having my friend like just like talking about goals, she's always talking about her goals and stuff. And when we just started talking, I was like, okay, that's a lot of high goals like that you have. I'm not sure how it would work, but it's been happening. And that really encouraged me to start believing that I can do big things, start trying, start believing. It's very important to surround yourself with people. I didn't really agree with that before. I am not saying you should cut off people that don't really agree or it's not really where you want to be, but I think sometimes you have to make some choices, and sometimes the best choice is just to leave some people behind.
You know about Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, right?
Yeah.
You just made me think because I read a lot about him, learned a lot about him, and I was part of Apple as a contractor for a while when he came back. And when he was 25, around your age, he had an interview where he said, when you ask most people why they do something the way they do, he said the worst answer you get a lot of times is, it's always been done this way. He never would accept that. He wanted to know why certain things were done, just like you do. It's a curiosity that leads to great things. That particular video, if anyone wants to look it up, it talks about the cost accounting that they had in companies that built products. He wanted to know how they came to what the cost would be. And he found out they were just kind of winging it. That's why they couldn't predict certain costs. And he said, that's not good enough. He learned about this process they had used for decades. And then he brought in new thinking that helped them be better able to determine how much it would cost to build something. You have that mindset so young, it's going to lead you to amazing things. And it already is. I mean, you're already reaching so many people. So like, let's go on this journey with you. Like, where are you thinking about heading? You're doing great now, but I want to hear about this 25-year-old, what she's thinking about.
I just knew that you were going to ask me this question before you even asked. Like yesterday, I was thinking about it. I know he's going to ask me about what I want for my future self. And I was just saying, should I try to be like this fancy person and try to have this fancy answer? But I couldn't do it. So I'm just going to be 100% honest. I don't have a set thing right now for me. I have my personal goals that I say I want to reach. But if I told you like 5 years from now, this, and this is going to happen, I'd be lying. Like normally I'm more of like a person that loves sweet stuff. So I'm always like buying a slice of cake to treat myself like at the end of the week after a stressful week. I'm trying to do that less. I'm trying to move more, trying to eat healthy. I'm trying to, just read more, get into a more confident self. So right now it's just about like growing myself. But I just know that there's this belief that 5 years from now, I'll be like a totally different person. And it's just great things. Nothing set in stone, but I just know amazing things are going to happen.
And that's a great answer. I mean, I had no preconception as to what you would say, but it's that mindset, Abigail. I like that because it really keeps you grounded in the present to make good use of the present. It's not like you're living in the future. You're going to enjoy the journey. It looks like don't give up all the slices of cake though. That's good stuff.
But right now, I think I am, but not forever, for sure. But I'm
Yes.
taking a break.
Okay, understood. That's good. What type of exercise are you involved in? Like, how do you intentionally do it?
I've been on this journey on and off for some while because it's a case where I'd start something, but I don't like to do it, so I stop, right?
Mhm.
And I recently learned that, like, I went to the dermatologist recently and she was telling me that, she tries to keep the steps for like skincare and anything she's giving her patients really simple. Because once you complicate something, it's done. We're not going to do it. I'm trying to have that same mindset. So right now, I'm just skipping. Like I try to do the whole like running, going out to run, but I hate running. So I just feel horrible every time I try to do it. So I decided to try to do something fun. And I think skipping is fun. I also do like some lifting off dumbbells sometimes, different workouts, but skipping is my main thing and I like doing it. So I've been doing it for I think a month and a half now consistently. So every day I try to get some reps in. This can be applied to everything else in life sometimes. Just find a simple thing that maybe you like to do and just try to do it once you have a goal set. Because I've been doing the HIIT stuff and I just felt horrible after. But skipping is just like fun. I just start putting on some music and just start jumping and having a good time.
That subject of simplicity, it's a big problem. People don't know how to simplify things. They don't know how to simplify what they're selling. They don't know how to simplify what they're thinking. There's some people who glorify complex stuff. What is your approach to simplification? Because you deal with clients, you help simplify them. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I've always had this belief, even before like jumping into the work world, why are things so complicated for no reason? I remember even just going on LinkedIn, when you're just joining and you don't have any connections, so the algorithm shows you a general audience of things like general stuff. I'd see some posts, I'd see the words, like some big words. It's very long, just very complicated. No one knows what they're talking about. And I'd be like, why are you doing this at the moment? Because nobody really understands this. And I'm sure a lot of persons that come on LinkedIn don't want to be bombarded with a million big words and a topic that nobody knows about. I think if you're trying to reach an audience, you're trying to connect with people, just try to be real and as simple as you can be. Not every topic is simple, but I think you can simplify a lot of stuff. That really deterred me from even wanting to join the platform because I was like, okay, this seems like maybe some C-level people. I realized clients love the list. Like, for example, we need something, they want to request something, for example, to change an email. Maybe we need some security ID, something like of the sort. They love that when you just list it out rather than paragraph, paragraph, paragraph. It's just a lot of reading and you're already frustrated. You don't want to be reading from this random person to see how you can change your email address. For example, I recently had an issue with that service that I was using. I was trying to reach out to support. I could not find the email address for that support team. I searched all over and I could not find it. Maybe they didn't even want us to really contact them at this point because I could not find it. I had to do some deep search and I found it on Reddit. That's where I found it. I went to a company page and I had to find the contact on Reddit. That's pretty crazy. A lot of companies, a lot of places, they have so much people, so much fancy degrees and all of that, and they can't find out how to simplify simple things. How can we contact you? That's like basic level, and you think a lot of people can just think about what the customer would like, but it's not always the case. Yeah, how can we make this easier? It's always that thing that comes to my head when we're seeing clients come back constantly having additional questions. How can we stop this from happening? So it's been a journey. I think I like doing it, and I just want more companies to think about stuff like that.
I just see you as being a troubleshooter to help companies become better interfacing with their public because it causes so many problems, which is another tangent I won't get on here, but so many companies don't grow because they give that aura that they're just not accessible or they don't care about you. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I was saying that's so true. That's like I've seen it a lot of times, and I've also wondered, should I just try to message the CEO or something or the head of some department? Hey, can we chat for a minute? Because I'd love to like give some insights.
That's some consultant stuff right there. Because you are experienced in that field, I could see many individuals welcoming you. It's just like that expression, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. Sometimes there's individuals who were the founder of a company and they don't know it's total chaos
Yeah.
on the customer service level. And then they think they've got to advertise more, do better marketing. It's like, no, you just need to take care of the people who want to deal with you. And then they'll tell other people about the good experience, right? Everybody who wants to deal with you does not want to deal with an AI chatbot if they're having
Yeah.
urgent problems. That's good for certain key things like give me the link to this or how do I lock my credit card or something like that. But when you're having a major issue, you want some personal interaction. So that's really great. I mean, your common sense and your appreciation for simplicity, you have like a business entity that is growing within you.
I appreciate you saying that. I am definitely just growing like through every interaction, every different interaction, as I said before, that I have with a client. I'm always thinking like, okay, this client had this issue. Why are we having so many others coming to us again? Maybe even the same client is coming back with additional questions. How can we really fix this? Is this not enough information available issue or a product issue? How can we like really fix this? If the company really doesn't prioritize their customer experience team, the team is not going to want to try as much as they should or want to try. Because I'm telling you, being in support is very difficult. You know about sales, you've been in sales. That's also a difficult point, like to talk to people daily to try to sell it. I couldn't do it, to be honest. But for support as well, it's very difficult. And some days it's really horrible. And if you don't have the right support already, it's just, there's nothing really happening there. It's just maintaining, no fixing, no, yeah.
There's that mindset, like you mentioned, where people are like, why should we put all this effort into customer service? It's not generating revenue. That's totally wrong. People get so tunnel vision. It's like, I want to do action A and I want response B to be a payment to me or to our company. But it's like when you get good customer service, it creates revenue streams from many different directions, because now this person who talked with Abigail, they're just like, hey, she really helped me use this product. You should use it too. They tell their colleague, and this colleague owns a company with 100 people. And now he's using the product. People get so impressed with themselves and they didn't have anything to do with it. So it's just amazing. You have these ingredients, Abigail, and I'm not just pumping you up because I already knew this before researching you, but hearing your expressions, it just reiterates to myself that you have these mindsets that you can't really give to a person. You've developed these things on your own, your personal development. You say you read a lot. What does that mean? Like, how much are you investing in your personal education? Because it seems like you do that just like you do your exercise.
Overall reading, I'd say like I do read more on like customer experience insights, like new things. I know AI is a big thing, so I've been following the different leaders. You know, they have a lot of newsletters, so I'm always like reading stuff like that. And sometimes I just see different videos, probably on YouTube. I think there's a lot of value as well there. Sometimes there's a lot of great stuff about just mindset and how to get over certain things in your life. I think even just talking about mindset, I can tell you that I was not really a positive person last year. I would say early last year. And before that, it would just be a case where every time I think about an opportunity or something happening, I just automatically go to the worst scenario and just say, okay, maybe it's not even going to happen. And I won't say every time it came out bad, but a lot of times, you know, if you put something into the world, something will come around and it just happen. Like for some reason, just because you put that energy out. So like just trying to be more positive daily, trying to not let everything tick me off or just assume the worst has really helped me overall. Sometimes even with health, even with mindset, people, as you said, always complicate stuff. You don't have to read a million books, but it's pretty helpful to read those books. You don't have to do a million exercises and starve yourself, but it's good to like try to eat healthy and move when you can. Even with social media, it's a case where a lot of persons, it's just a lot of noise. Okay, you need to do this, this, and this, and plus buy a million stuff. No, you just need to go outside and walk or run or just move. You don't need to buy a million stuff. You don't need to go to a gym. If you want to, you can, but you literally don't have to. And it's just a case where if you want to improve yourself, just take what you can from others and try to just push through the noise. I think that's really helped me. Like every time I'm researching something, I get overwhelmed because there's so much noise and nobody wants to simplify anything anymore.
That's going to resonate. I know that'll be a nice clip that we'll pull up of you explaining that. You reminded me of a businessman that I follow. He's passed away. He built a business, Abigail, that became sports marketing. You know how now an athlete, especially I could use Usain Bolt from Jamaica, as he showed his prowess, then brands wanted him to represent the product, right? That was not really something common 70 years ago. And Mark McCormick started to do that with prominent athletes because they used to just get paid for their competitions. But he's like, why don't we get a product and let their championship ways promote this product? He was a lawyer at one time. He didn't really enjoy the profession. And so he started the sports marketing. And you just reminded me of him because he said, so many people don't start a business because they think that all these complicated things need to be involved. He said this in the 80s. To start his business, he needed $500, a desk, and a phone. This was the 80s. So, you know, maybe $500 today is like $2,500 or something, who knows? But I read that when I was like a late teen or something. And I'm like, really? His business eventually came to have like multinational locations, but it took some years, especially in this time where people are losing jobs for no reason, no fault of their own. I would love to see people just say, hey, I got a cell phone, I got a kitchen table, I have an idea. I don't even think you need $2,500. I don't think anything proportional because we have the internet. you know?
Yeah.
This podcast, I'm focusing on you being someone with a great self-awareness. You're able to understand yourself, but it's like you are also a simplicity pro. From what I'm hearing, you just boil stuff down to the most common, basic stuff. That's really a superpower.
I think it took growth as well. Like, I wasn't always like this. I will say that, with TikTok and everything, like sometimes you're looking and you might see the newest thing influencers are advertising, and I'd be one of those persons who just jumps and say, all right, I want to try this product as well. But it came to a point where I was like, okay, I have all these things, but why? Sometimes they would even expire because I'm not using them. And I just had to start to look into myself. I think that's where the self-awareness comes in. You have to like sit down with yourself. Why am I doing this? So that's something I asked myself a lot. So even something, even like the iPad, like an iPad, like I saw it and everybody's saying like, that would change their life, like if they got one. And I was like agreeing and saying, maybe I need one. But then I sat with myself and I said, do you really want this? Or do you just want to fix it? Do you think that you need to have it as well? Like it's not reality. And I think people who reach that level 100% are doing amazing, because sometimes it still comes in waves. But I try to just center about myself and find, do I really want this? Why do I want this? And that really helps, just asking myself that.
It's a very big problem in various places throughout the world. I'm so glad that you've conquered that. And that internet noise that you mentioned, could you talk a little bit about that again, Abigail? Because that is important too for the listeners. There's so much noise. When you say noise, define it a little bit more, what you mean.
So I started just to look on TikTok to see different videos of what people are doing. They're trying to lose weight. I'm trying to lose weight. Let's see the different options that they've been doing. Influencers, sometimes they might say their daily routine, and you'd see a million stuff. Now, I'm saying like it could actually be helpful, but for the average person also, influencers always get like different free stuff to just advertise and show their audience and everything. We're not influencers. If you're taking care of yourself, unfortunately, it's very expensive. Like even like some vitamins or so that you might need. When you look on the price, sometimes, it's a pretty penny. So when you're looking on these things and they're saying, hey, for gut health, you need like 5 of these things and it's really changed me and all that. Sometimes you just need to eat more vegetables and drink more water. Like that's all you need to do. But they're saying, buy this protein mix, buy this green smoothie thing, buy this massager. And it's like, if you are not like self-aware and be able to separate yourself and be like, do I really need this? Or is it just aesthetic? That's just how it is. There's a new device now, it's the iPhone 17. It's a case where people are talking about buying that. Like, your phone is okay. If you can afford it and you want to do it, fine, 100%. But it's not a need, really. It's just a case where people are just making it very appealing. And if you just want to sometimes just buy something to feel good, because I do that sometimes. Sometimes I just want to get a package to feel nice, So it's a case where that's 10 times worse, and you're doing that constantly. Like, in the long run, like, who really wins here? I'm sure not you. You just have all these products, you don't even have the time to use them. It's really an issue, to be honest.
It reminds me of a meme I saw. It's like people like, why am I so poor? And then the next scene of the meme was, the wig for your cat has arrived. From Amazon, right? They're buying like all these peripherals to beautify their animals. The animal was wearing the wig. Like, what is this? It doesn't even know what's going on. That is pretty funny. You touched on AI too. This is not like an AI podcast, but That's how I first got introduced to you. One of our mutual connections brought us together, and we were talking about AI in our first interaction. What's your general view of AI, just off the cuff? I'm just curious.
I spoke on ChatGPT. I remember the post. And that was
Mhm.
just more on the therapist area. I saw a post stating that people are using it for therapy purposes instead of going to an actual licensed professional. So that was kind of scary to see because I've been using it for some time. And I realized that if you don't prompt it the right way, it really just agrees with everything you're saying. So there's a case where I'd send them my thoughts, like, oh, I want to write this post. I send them the thoughts and everything. It's amazing. It's great. And I'm like, no, you're lying. This is not amazing at all. So it's like I've been catching it sometimes. It's not always 100% factual. So that's also something that got me before. Then I'm seeing that now, and it's really concerning because you can be like, sometimes you're not in the right frame of mind, and to hear something like you're right or yeah, do this can be very harmful. But AI overall, I think it can really improve different businesses, different ways of life. So I think it's very good. It's just a case where how do we use it?
Some of the new ideas that your generation is coming with is just kind of getting right to the point of a matter. Like my generation and the one before me really had so many steps to things. We didn't have the internet in the 70s. Things were harder to research. You had to rely on previous knowledge more to build things. But now you guys are just making stuff from scratch. You're that type of person, Abigail. You're already doing it from scratch. I like how you begin your post with one little simple statement. You pretty much have somebody that you follow, I think, when you make your post. Am I correct?
My friend that's been posting, she's the one who taught me this. Start off with something simple to bring in the audience because people don't like to read. So that's what I normally follow. Like try to hook them and then talk about what I have to talk about.
Yeah, and that's the word they use, the hook. Your hooks are good. You're doing very well with that. Again, simplicity is the best way. There was one post you had, it was so interesting. It was that remote work post, of course, but I saw your mindset to a post. You're like, everybody has opinions and they almost made you feel guilty with their opinions. Stop making other people feel bad.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm like, oh, this girl, she's defending the population.
It might seem like a simple post, but that's even just like coming from childhood. Like there's always been people just acting weird, like always projecting. And I've always like wondered what's going on. You're young, you don't really know what's going on. But I always wonder like if I said something or if I did something, like were you just pushing all these opinions on me? Like I didn't ask for this. It's a common thing. It happens every day. Projecting it just happens. Like everyone's going through something, and that's valid. We're all going through something. But I believe you can control how you push that on other people. So I'm very passionate about that because I've been experiencing that in levels of my life. I remember I got a job offer. It wasn't what I wanted. The salary was pretty low, but I needed a job. And I spoke to a friend. She just immediately went to, well, it's better than nothing, girl. Let's take it. I just wanted to like talk about like how I felt. I don't think it's for me. She was just 100% dismissive, and it wasn't her first time like doing something like that. And it's fine like to just be dismissive, but I realized that it was a pattern of her just projecting on me. I realized this friendship might not be for me. So I had to like start to reevaluate a lot of my friendships because I think sometimes I won't say that people are scared of like bringing other people in their space, but I think that especially in countries where not a lot of opportunities are available, the energy sometimes it's not the best. There's a lot of persons in Jamaica, like they're very private, and they're unfortunately very private regarding everything professional and life because there's a lot of weird people as well. It's like you'd say something or try to help somebody and they mess it up. So I get it 100%. So a lot of that mindset is just coming from how the country kind of is at the moment. So I get it. But also it's like it's damaging to me who is like just trying to navigate. So I have to be very careful with who I speak to. So it's just the whole thing of people projecting. The remote work thing, I know it's difficult. It's not as easy to get The others are just like, why do you even want to work remotely? Just find a job, go in the traffic and work. And that's the mindset. Okay, I get it. But there are persons who want to be at home. They have kids sometimes. They're not 100%. Maybe they have some disability and they can't really manage to go out day by day. Isn't that a thing? Like, we just automatically just go to work. People that project aren't horrible. Something is happening or something has happened and they just don't have the resources to or I don't know, the drive to fix that or to improve themselves, and that's okay. But, it really damages the other person. I can say, speaking for myself, if you're not strong enough, it really can damage you. So you have to just be very careful.
Very good advice and very balanced. I want people to really pay attention to that because the difference between you being here and here sometimes is who you listen to.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so good to talk to you, Abigail. We're going to continue, our interactions on LinkedIn, and I want people to start following you even more. They are following you. There's an entity coming out of Abigail Cleary. You're going to look back at whatever time it is, and we're going to be talking about this particular podcast, and people are going to have to make an appointment to talk to you.
I love that. I love that.
It's so cool. And, we have a lot of respect for Jamaica. I know here in the United States, how you guys kill us in track and field every year. That's a phenomena has been going on for decades. It's like there's a good aura that comes out of Jamaica. You're a representative of your people, a really good one.
I appreciate that. Yeah, Jamaicans are amazing. There are so many Jamaicans doing amazing things all around the world, like even just track and field. We know how that goes. Like, they're just amazing there. So I am just happy to be one of them, be a person on LinkedIn. I don't think a lot of Jamaicans, you have top people on LinkedIn from Jamaica, but a lot of persons still aren't into LinkedIn. So I hope that changes in the future and people really see the value over there and how powerful a good network can be.
Yeah. And you can even help with that too, because you've set a good example in talking it up, because I know I'd love to see more Jamaican content on LinkedIn or content from people who are native Jamaicans. It would be really cool. Do you have any final words for us of encouragement? I want you to think of all these thousands of people listening to you across the internet. What is the motivation that Abigail Cleary wants to leave with them?
I would say that if you have a goal in life, there's never going to be a perfect moment, and you just have to just go for it. It won't be like a straight line of consistency, but even just starting small, that can really help. I remember just going on LinkedIn and just commenting. I felt weird about posting, so I didn't for a good while, even though I was encouraged to start doing so. So I just started leaving comments, insightful, trying to have a conversation where I could. And that just started to help me to feel more comfortable, and gradually started to posting, and then started to talk to more people, talk to you. It's just a journey, and I'm excited to see what comes next. But right now it's just about just starting. You have your fitness journey, you have your career goals. Just write down the goals and start as small as possible and just keep going.
Amazing voice. I don't think you're only 25. I think you're faking it.
Well, I'll take that compliment, but I'm just 25.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Share it with your friends. We'll be back next month with another great conversation with the CEO of Shopify app developer XCO Agency, Mohammed El Gorfi from Morocco. Until then, for more encouraging tips and advice, follow us on social media. Links in the description. See you next time.